Well, guys, how's she going today? So we're in the green truck again, but got rained out. Like literally rained out. Everything's freaking soaked, and it wasn't supposed to rain. Well, last night they said it wasn't supposed to rain, but this morning they said there was a chance of storms, or at least a shower or something. So she was looking a little nasty over there towards the north. You damn Canadian people keep letting your shit come down here all the time. Can't get nothing fucking done ever. But whatever. So, because they came from the north, so. But yeah, I know I made a video last night too talking about the grain truck a little bit, but I'm just doing what I can to test these switches, and it's starting to stick. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, I tested them with the multimeter, and I'm using, put the multimeter back in the four-wheeler so it wouldn't get rained on, but it's a good thing I wouldn't be driving this thing down the freaking highway, because it's loud right now with the rain just coming down as it is. Never mind driving 55 miles an hour. So, but I don't know. Like I said, I tested the switches. I tested the push button switch, which I think needs to be replaced anyway. It needs to be kind of sticking a little bit. And I just got right now taking out the toggle switch and testing that, and that works okay. It kind of depends on how you're doing it, but because the switch, toggle switch, that's supposed to, when you have it off, it's supposed to disconnect, you know, and that's usually, if you disconnect it, then no electricity can go through it. And that's what the multimeter does when you set it to that setting. Well, you can go without the alarm too, but I like the alarm. I like to have that sound, especially when it's windy, because it's windy, and they got us in for a wind advisory too, but it wasn't much for wind earlier, but now it's really picking up. But it the beeping just lets you know that there is something going through it. And I'm not sure if there's anything else I can try on that multimeter, because mine's a little more fancier than some other ones, but I tested it with the switch off and I got nothing, so no beeping, no numbers. And then when you would flip it on, then it would start to beep, and it would, yeah, and then it would beep, and then you would get some numbers. And it seemed like that sometimes you would get a higher number, which I think is a bad thing, and then sometimes the number would be lower, which is a good thing. So, but it could just be the way I'm holding it, because I actually have it's not the right type of wire, but I have like a jumper wire or an extension wire that I can use to make it easier when you're using the multimeter. I think it came with the winch. When I bought the new winch for Big Red, it came with that jumper wire. I think it's more like a tester wire, so you can test to make sure you got things hooked up correctly. But I didn't rewire or anything. I just slipped a new winch into place. So I kept that little jumper wire. I don't think I have it with me. I think I put it in the. I think it's in the four-wheeler. Yeah, I think so. It's not on me. So, but it's only like a foot long or so, but it's decent to have floating around. So it's, and then with the push button, that's a little harder to test, but I tested that, and it seems like it's getting power, but I think it gets power. I think pretty much no matter what you do, either you push it or you don't. So I don't know exactly if that's the problem. So I don't know. I don't know if it would be cheaper just to replace the push button and Because I think the toggle switch is fine. I imagine that's original to the truck as well. Everything's original to this fucking truck. So, except the bed. The bed's that was probably added on at some point, or it was built like that. I don't really know, but yeah, I think the toggle switch is fine. I haven't tested the key switch yet because I haven't even taken that out yet. And now with it raining like this, I think my day's gonna be done. I'm kind of just waiting for a window to get the fuck out of here, but it looks like the sun might even come out in another like 5-10 minutes. I can see a little bit. You can't even see it, but there, can you see it now? Probably not. I'm not even gonna drive. But over there towards Canada, if I wait, well, it's gonna quit raining, I imagine, here in about 5 minutes. It's just a light shower right now, so it's not bad, but she was coming down there pretty good for a minute. That's why I'm in here. So flies are just getting to be terrible too. Jesus, I got like 20 flies here in the truck, and I got 20 in the freaking house, and cows are covered in like 200 of them. So we're trying to figure out what we can do with them too, because we think that's why at least 2 of our cows didn't get pregnant, because we think the flies were bugging them. And the young guy said that can happen too if the flies are bad enough. Like some cows won't get pregnant because they're just so irritated, and that also has to do with them not eating very well too. You know, they can't eat because they're focused on getting the hell out of the fly area. Found some organic ways of controlling flies. It's like you can buy like a gallon jug of some organic spray, but it's like 75 fucking bucks. Here comes the wind. And then I'm trying to, I'm having Mother do it because she's better at it and she likes to look up stuff. So, trying to see if we can find like an organic recipe that we can just make at home. You know, with the stuff that we can have at our house under our sink. But she hasn't said nothing yet, so she probably forgot to look. But whatever. I kind of wish that just soapy water would work. You know, Dawn dish soap into water. I wish it was that simple, but fortunately it's not. And then I heard too that apparently flies can become resistant to whatever you're using. So if you use something too long, like a chemical, they can get resistant to it and it doesn't bother them anymore. So how that is, I don't really know, because you think the ones that you sprayed would die off. You know, and I don't know if it kills them or if it just makes them stay away. It needs to kill them, but I think a lot of them it just keeps them away. So I don't really know, but there's some. I think I've only seen one or two organic things that you can try, but some people say that works and some people say it don't work. So I don't know. But and then there's chemicals obviously out there too. So I have no clue what to do with that, but I heard that you can use a sprayer, like a 1 gallon or 2 gallon sprayer, and you can mix it in a sprayer. So might try that next year. This year's about done. There's no sense now because they're saying it's supposed to start being cooler out, and flies ain't gonna want to be around too much longer. If anything, they're gonna want to, you know, just disappear. Probably head south, where I should definitely be going for the winter months because it freaking sucks here. Sun's coming out a little bit. It's gonna really come out here in maybe 5-10 minutes, but it's just pretty nasty over there looking now. Unreal. So I don't know. About the grain truck, I'm not really sure. I mean, to me, the toggle switch seems fine and the push button seems fine. That would only leave left the key switch, and that's got like 16,000 wires going to it. So how the fuck would you even know what wire to test? So it could just be bad too. Like, you know, like it could not even be a wiring issue. It's obviously the key switch could be bad, or any switch really. But I was just testing the switches because the wires look fine. I don't see any breaks in wires anywhere. I looked under the dash, and that everything seemed fine. I mean, the wires are old, but they're not broken. They're not corroded in any way. They're not chewed out, which is surprising. The wiring's not chewed to shit. Considering this truck's been sitting since '86, it hasn't done a damn thing. So, could be a ground, it could be a dirty ground, but I don't really know where the grounds would be on this thing. I looked at the wires going to the starter, and that looked clean, like it was alright. Like it wasn't corroded, or it wasn't like covered in straight rust. It looked just dirty, you know, like it's got dust on it, like it's been sitting for a while. So that looked okay. Like I said, my uncle said that the gauge, some of the gauges moved. Now, like the fuel tank gauge, that reads empty, but he said it did move a little bit when it had power. The amp gauge is stuck in the middle, which I think that's correct. Because on the left side you got 50 minus, which is probably a bad sign. It probably means the generator's not doing anything. And then you got the plus 50, which probably means the generator's doing something. Oil pressure at an idle, it's at an idle. And in that run, it would be way over to the right. And then you got temperature, which is stuck in hot. So I'm guessing that gauge is probably bad. And then, well, nobody knows about the speed gauge because it needs to be driven. You need to drive it down the road in order to see that to move. So, but my uncle said that one of the headlights came on and whatever else. So that's telling me right there that we probably got one bulb that ain't going to work, but whatever. I'm never going to probably drive this thing at night anyway, but it would be nice to have lights just in case you did get caught in the dark. It would be nice to have lights, but we have one at least anyway, so if we do get caught out in the field or something with it, I guess we have some lighting. So, but I'm kind of wondering if it maybe got something to do with the clutch, but I don't know. I don't know if these clutches have a safety feature in them or not. Like on the 1586, you can't start it unless you push the clutch in. But I think there's a safety neutral switch. I think that went bad because before, like when I first bought the tractor, for about a good year there, I was able to start it without pushing the clutch in. And the young guy can do that with his 1086 too. He can start it without pushing the clutch in. So I think that's a sensor or a switch that went bad, and now it's saying, okay, well, you're engaged, you're in gear or something, you know, and you can't start unless you push the clutch in. And I'm wondering if maybe this truck has that, but this truck's so old that I wonder. Because back in the 50s, safety wasn't really, it's not like today. Everything's got safety shit on it that you just, I don't know, it's just ridiculous. And you wonder why I drive old stuff, because it's just, you know, less safety crap. You know, Big Red, well, he's a four-wheeler, so he doesn't have much for safety stuff, but the John Deere mower that I have, that's got safety stuff up the ass. You got something for the reel. You can't mow in reverse unless you pull the switch up, which is gay. Can't get off the seat. If you do, then it'll kill the machine, which I'm okay with that. I'm just not a big fan of the reel, but I know a lot of people, they've had their ways of disabling that, and I can disable mine too. I just put a stick under the switch and it's fine, because it slows me down when I have to do that. But the 1586 doesn't have any safety switches in the seat. You know, it just, I think it just has a clutch thing, and that's about it. But I'm wondering about the grain truck, if maybe there's not something there, but I don't know. This truck's older than the hills, so. Well, the 400 doesn't have any stuff either, and I think that's right around the same year as this. Because I know that my uncle sometimes he forgets that it's engaged, like or it's in gear. Because sometimes you have to put the tractor in gear in order to stop it from rolling. And he goes to start it, and he forgets that it's still in gear, and he starts it, and then the starter's actually trying to turn the engine and the transmission, so it's trying to push the tractor, which is obviously it's hard on the starter, but there's no safety stuff there. You just got to make sure it's in neutral or the clutch is in. But you think this truck would be the same way too. It doesn't have that, because you think you'd be able to just turn the key and go kind of thing, right? You know, whereas today, you know, you got to do this and do that. You got to punch in a password, and stupid. It's just crap. So you don't want somebody stealing your shit, take the key out and lock the doors. That's about as good as you're ever going to get. These newer vehicles, you got to put in a passcode and shit like that just to even get in them. I mean, you can disable all that. You don't need it. I'm happy with a key. I'll take a key. It's good enough. Roll the windows up, lock the doors, take the key with you. Good enough. So, but yeah, I'm not sure what else. I mean, the only thing I got left to try now is just the key switch, and I got to figure out how to get that out. Which I imagine you can just turn that big nut and it'll come out. So, but I think the toggle switch is fine. I think the push button, it's okay, but it's sticking a little bit, so I probably should replace it anyway to save me the headache. Because if it ever should get stuck on, it's going to keep telling the starter to do something, and so that's kind of sticking a little bit, so I probably should replace that. Just for the hell of it. But I need to hear the starter engage, and we got to figure out why it's not getting power. So, other than that, I have no clue. The only thing that's left now is the key switch. So, and who knows if that's even the problem, too. It could have just been maybe you got to push the clutch in, and I don't know if he did that or not. He ain't coming out here, so yeah. I don't know. He seen me pulling in the yard, but I guess he figured I'm just going to dick around, so. But I don't know, from what I can tell, just from using the multimeter, you know, and you can set it to that setting that tells you if a wire's bad or not, you know, just by it completing its own circuit, and it'll beep at you, and it'll give you a bunch of numbers. And usually lower the number usually means it's better, and I think higher the number, the worse it is. And at times it was really bad, but sometimes it was alright, so I don't know if it's just maybe the way I'm holding it, or if it really is bad, but seems fine to me. So what's left now is to test the key switch. And it looks like this truck had other buttons in it at one time too, but they took them out. Well, spare places to put, I guess, extra lights. So I want to put extra lights on this thing, but it's 6 volt, not 12, and 12 or 6 volt work lights are hard to come by. This truck should just be rewired to 12 volts. That's what it should be done, but yeah, I'm not doing that. That's beyond my skill set there, so I'd have to take it in somewhere and have somebody else do that. They can rewire everything, and imagine that'll cost a couple grand. So, because you'd have to put in different lights, different tail lights, headlights, dome light, and switches and keys and whatever else, you know. So, the one interesting thing though too that I would find very interesting when we do finally get this truck up and running and getting it moving on its own power, does the heat work? Because it's still got an international blower in there, and it's right down there in the corner, and it's got a toggle switch as well, and it looks like temp control and defrost. So that'd be interesting to see if this thing even makes heat. But in order for it to make heat, you got to be driving it, so. But interesting. But yeah, I think that's going to be pretty much it on our rain for a little while. I'm going to try to take this key switch out and I can see if I come up with anything there. If not, well, maybe it's got something to do with the clutch then, I don't know. No clue. So, but anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. I just want to make this little video and let you guys know what's going on and whatever else. So, yeah. And the cows finally shut up, too. They were hollering when I pulled in. Not sure what they were in here, but I don't know. Cows. So, I don't know. Anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. So, I guess have a good day and stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.